And, okay. I've been getting a lot of requests for new morality with Motamedi ideas. Normally, we've been handling pretty basic ethical dilemmas. This is a little different, but I want you to indulge me anyway, Lewis. A huge comet strikes the Earth, okay? Wipes out 90% of all life and all infrastructure. Would you want to continue to live in such a decimated world? Or would you be tempted to take your own life in that situation? It would be a hard life. You know, this reminds me of a book I've read called Lucifer's Hammer, which actually paints a pretty similar picture. And let's just say it turned to cannibalism in that particular book. It wasn't pretty. What would you say? Would you commit suicide if that was the situation? If you were lucky or unlucky enough to be one of those who survived? Or would you stick it out?
I mean, it depends on how bad things were. If I were starving, I wouldn't have a problem killing myself.
Would you end your own life in that situation before you start eating other people, if that's what it came to?
Oh, okay.
I mean, just to make it more interesting.
I really can't say.
Lewis is unsure on this.
Other
one.
dead people or other live people?
Oh, that's a good question.
I'd have to kill them probably.
Yeah, let's assume that it was
That's
people.
pretty bad.
It was people you had to kill. Yeah.
I mean, could I be like a person who kills other cannibals? Like, what's that show about the serial killer who kills serial killers?
I don't know.
Like that?
It's not ringing a bell. This is a tough one. I think it depends on the situation. I mean, these disaster movies inevitably make you think of these types of scenarios. It's very hard to just say, okay, 90% of life and infrastructure is gone.
Lewis's Legend.
Yeah, exactly. Like that movie, I Am Legend. I don't know. I think I would try to stick it out as long as possible. I know that some people who have proposed this situation to me said right away, if such a natural disaster takes place as to eliminate 90% of people and infrastructure, they're offing themselves right away.
I mean, starving to death seems like a pretty bad way to go.
Yeah, but let's assume it hasn't gotten to that point. In other words, you could survive. You wouldn't have to starve, but it would just be a very rough life. I mean, it would take you weeks just to cover a few miles. You would have to be foraging for berries and nuts. I mean, literally, we would be going back several, I don't know, many, many years to a very different lifestyle. I guess I would try to stick it out. You also wouldn't ever really have a way of knowing that 90...
I'd feel it out for a while.
I think I would stick it out as long as I could.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible that, like you say, 10% of people would survive. Maybe 10% of every type of thing would survive. So you'd have all the technology that we have. You'd have 10% of supermarkets, 10% of computers,
No,
10%
infrastructure's
of cars.
gone.
No, but think about it. Okay, so 10% of the roads survive, but they're all disconnected from each other. So how is that? That's you can't just say, well, we'll still have 10% of everything.
Right, but if you can, for example, go into an empty supermarket and get food, you're not going to be starving for quite a while.
No, but a lot of that food will go bad, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, you can get, high shelf life food.
Yeah,
the
canned
last few
goods.
years.
Maybe the Mormon food storage thing that I criticized is a good idea. These scenarios are making me question it.
NASA has these products that last like 7 years. You just got to make a lot of that.
How long does do canned items last?
Can last a pretty long time.
Those can last several years too.
Yeah.
Can they?
I think so.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you get botulism at the end of it?
I don't think so. I mean, many items when you buy it, it says best if used by, and the date will be at least a couple of years later.
Right.
And you have to assume that's includes some margin,
Yeah, no doubt.
All right. So Lewis, final answer: you would try to stick it out in that situation. You would not kill yourself.
Not immediately.
I agree. So keep sending your morality with Motamedi questions, David@davidpakman.com. If you're on Twitter, go on donateyouraccount.com/David Pakman Show and donate your Twitter followers to the David Pakman Show. I met Kyle Shank, who developed donateyouraccount.com at Netroots Nation. Very nice guy. So help us to support his tool by going to donateyouraccount.com/David Pakman Show. We'll take a break. Still several more stories to talk about. Stay tuned. DavidPakman.com/membership. Make sure you don't miss today's bonus show.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.